In my 20 years of coaching, I've seen a lot of mistakes when candidates are asked, "What are your salary expectations?" But there's one mistake that comes up so consistently, so predictably, is not asking for too much, is not asking for too little. It's giving a number straight up without any possibility of negotiation. Here's what happens. Candidates are asked this question and they just answer it. They say something like, "I'm looking for 50,000. Done." And just like that, they have lost out. Not because the number was wrong, but because they spoke first. Now here's what they don't know. The hiring manager was sitting there ready to offer 60,000. That's 10,000 gone in 10 seconds. This is Joe McDermott from Interview Gold. I've been on both sides of the interview table. Over the past 20 years, I've coached thousands of candidates across global industries into great new jobs, from entry level into senior executives. And I've personally sat on hundreds of interview panels, and I know exactly what you need to say to get the highest salary possible. So listen, this one question trips up even the most experienced candidates. But after this video, you will know exactly what to say and how to say it so you come out ahead every single time. And just to say, if you're new to the channel, subscribe now for more great interview tips. And if you enjoy this type of video, click the like button. So what's the problem with just giving a number? Well, let me tell you, this is where candidates lose money fast. When you were asked for your salary expectations and you say, "I'm looking for X," you have made a vital mistake. And here's why. Firstly, it immediately puts you at a negotiation disadvantage. You've just handed over your negotiating power. You've anchored yourself to a fixed number, and they will then most likely work downwards from there to something lower. Secondly, you're negotiating blind. You have no idea what they've really budgeted. They may have advertised a range or a salary. However, most often they will pay more for the right candidate. That number in their head may be higher than anything you were going to say, and you'd never know because you spoke first. So going in without that information is a gamble and no need to take at this early stage. Here's an interesting fact. A 2025 study reported that only 28% of respondents were content with their salary. That means that 72% of people were not happy. The reality is that when you move into a new job, this is the ideal time to negotiate a higher wage. Do not waste this opportunity or you may regret it for months. So just how do you answer this tricky question and get more? So your goal isn't just to answer the question. Your goal is to answer it strategically. And here is how you do that. Know your price. Before you walk into any interview, you need a number, a real researched value. And this should be based on two factors. What the market is paying. Now use sites like Glassdoor or LinkedIn Salary. Look at the role, the industry, your city, your years of experience. And from that, you will get a good idea of what those types of jobs pay. And number two is, what amount do you genuinely want? So if you're moving job, for example, you need to know what number will make it worth your while. If you're going for promotion, you need to know what increase in salary is worth taking on those extra responsibilities. What will you be happy with? Okay, so once you have your number, let's look at how to handle this question in the interview. And there are two strategies I'm going to give you. Strategy number one is redirect. So before you give your number, try this move, redirect. Say something like, "I'd love to make sure we're aligned. Could you share the budgeted range for this role?" Or, "I want to make sure my expectations are in line with what you have in mind. What's the range you're working with?" Many interviewers, especially HR screeners, will just tell you. And now you have all the power. You have that information. So if their range is higher than what you were going to say, you should then give a number which is at the top of their range. If it's lower than your minimum, you will then have the option to tell them this. After all, there's no point in accepting an offer it really is not going to satisfy your expectations. Of course, this redirect doesn't always work. Some interviewers will push back and say, "We'd really like to hear your number first." And that's fine. So strategy number two is give a range. So here's what's key. Make sure the bottom of your range is the number you would be happy with, the minimum. For example, if you want 85,000, your range should be 85,000 to 95,000, not 75,000 to 95,000. And why is that? Because they will almost always land somewhere in the middle or lower end of whatever you say. So when you do name a number, deliver it with calm confidence. No apologies, no hedging, no trailing off. For example, here's something you can say. Based on my research and my experience in this area and my specialist skills in X, I'm looking for something in the range of X to Y. That said, I'm open to discussing the full compensation package, benefits, equity, flexibility, because those matter to me too. Okay, let's break down why this answer works. 1, you cite research. That signals that your number isn't random, it's grounded. 2, you tie it to your value. My experience in this area and specialist skills reminds them that you're not just a salary, you're an investment. 3, and this is what is vitally important, you stay open to an offer without being a pushover. Mentioning the full package shows maturity and it gives both sides room to move. Okay, whichever of those two strategies you go for, either the redirect or giving a range, you will now either have an idea of what they are offering and they will know what you want. However, it's time now to stop negotiating. The job interview is not the place to negotiate your salary. Firstly, you haven't got the offer yet. And this is the most fundamental mistake I see, and I see it constantly. Negotiating salary before you have an offer in your hand is like haggling over the price of a house you haven't yet been invited to buy. You have no leverage, none. They haven't decided they want you yet. Keep in mind, the moment you get the offer, this is when your leverage peaks. This is the moment they've decided you're the one. They've mentally moved on from the other candidates. They want to close the deal. And that's when you have real power. And that's exactly when you should use it. Do this too early and you've spent that power on nothing. Answering about salary expectations and negotiating an offer are two separate conversations. Keep them that way. Okay, here's what not to say when answering the salary expectations question. Don't say, I'll take whatever you think is fair, because this hands all the power over instantly. Don't give a range that's too wide, like say 60 to 90. That just tells them nothing and makes you look unsure. Don't bring up personal financial needs. For example, I need this much because my rent is X. That's not relevant to them and it weakens your position. And don't lie, for example, about, say, a competing offer to pressure them, unless you actually have one, because it could backfire badly if they call your bluff. Okay, so here's the bottom line with the what are your salary expectations questions. This is an opportunity. It's your chance to show that you know your worth, you've done your homework, and you're someone who can advocate for themselves. Do all of that, and you won't just answer the question. You'll own this negotiation. If this was helpful, drop a comment below with the strategy you prefer using when it comes to answering the salary question. And make sure you watch this next video, where I show you how to answer the Tell Me About Yourself interview question with a powerful 2-minute magic formula called I Can Plus. And you also get a detailed real-life sample answer you can copy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.